America's most audacious megaprojects are transforming the country in ways few imagined possible. This month, the United States is pouring billions into high-speed rail lines, massive power corridors, next-generation airports, and congestion-busting bridges. With the California high-speed rail now 60% finished, twin tunnel borers carving beneath the Hudson, and Texas aiming to connect Dallas and Houston in just 90 minutes. But as the scale of these projects surges, so do the stakes: engineering, climate, and financial risks that could reshape how millions travel, work, and power their homes. What's really unfolding behind the headlines of United States megaprojects under construction in September 2025? The answer reveals a race against time, technology, and political will. In California's Central Valley, the backbone of America's first high-speed rail system is taking shape. Crews have completed more than 60% of the 171-mile Merced to Bakersfield segment, where viaducts soar above fields and seismic bearings anchor the structures against future earthquakes. Overhead, the first stretches of electrified catenary are being installed, setting the stage for all-electric trains. Field teams, led by engineers like Diana Gomez, have navigated unstable soils and floodplain hazards with deep foundations and round-the-clock monitoring. The project has already generated more than 1,500 local jobs, laying the groundwork for a new era in American rail travel. Beneath the Hudson River, twin tunnel boring machines, each measuring 24 feet in diameter, are grinding through layers of silt and bedrock, advancing the Gateway program's most demanding phase. The new tunnels are lined with reinforced concrete segments, each fitted with watertight gaskets to withstand both river pressure and potential storm surges. Crew leaders coordinate pressure management systems in real time, using sensor data to anticipate and counter sudden shifts in groundwater. Bulkhead floodgates and backup dewatering pumps stand ready for emergencies, a direct response to the lessons learned from Hurricane Sandy. With excavation now past 1,400 feet on the North Tube, every round of progress secures the Northeast Corridor against future floods and seismic shocks, while keeping the region's busiest rail artery in motion. Texas Central's proposal for a high-speed rail corridor between Dallas and Houston stands apart for its reliance on private capital and global technology partnerships. With a planned 240-mile alignment, the project aims to connect two of the nation's fastest-growing metros in just 90 minutes using the Japanese Shinkansen N700S system. Unlike publicly funded peers, Texas Central executives have steered negotiations toward international export credit and equity investment, especially after the withdrawal of federal loan guarantees and Amtrak's exit in 2025. While initial viaduct assembly was projected outside Houston, ongoing land acquisition and legal disputes have kept construction at bay, underscoring the volatility and ambition of privately financed megaprojects in the U.S. At Denver International Airport, expansion efforts continue while daily operations serve more than 80 million passengers a year. Engineering teams have delivered 39 new gates since 2018, with the latest concourse additions pushing the airport's capacity up by nearly a third. The Great Hall program, now in its final construction phase, transforms the Yepesen terminal with new ticketing areas and upgraded security checkpoints, all while flights and passenger flows remain uninterrupted. Structural engineers responded to the discovery of an unmapped seismic fault beneath Concourse C by pausing foundation work and redesigning support systems to meet updated safety standards. Energy use in new and renovated spaces has dropped by up to 30%, thanks to rooftop solar arrays, passive ventilation systems, and advanced LED lighting. Automated baggage handling and GPS-guided taxiways further streamline operations, setting a new benchmark for airport resilience and efficiency. Foundation crews on the Brent Spence Bridge corridor are drilling shafts nearly 200 feet into the bedrock beneath the Ohio River, anchoring the new companion span against seismic shocks and river scour. A recent crane near miss, triggered by sudden wind gusts during a heavy lift, halted all river operations for 36 hours, while safety supervisors rewrote critical lift protocols and added real-time wind monitoring. Kentucky and Ohio Department of Transportation teams now coordinate every barge and rigging move, with safety captains on standby. Traffic models project up to 40 minutes in rush hour time savings once the corridor opens, restoring reliable freight movement through the Midwest's busiest river crossing. For the 160,000 vehicles and countless trucks that depend on this artery each day, the overhaul promises relief from decades of gridlock and a safer, more resilient link between Cincinnati and Covington. Steel towers, some rising 150 feet above the plains, now march across nearly 800 miles from Kansas to Indiana, forming the backbone of the Grain Belt Express transmission line. Invenergy's engineers are installing high-voltage direct current cables designed to move 4 gigawatts of wind energy eastward, enough to supply 1.6 million homes. Converter stations at each end translate this power for regional grids, balancing supply and demand across 4 states. Along the Missouri corridor, the Miller family's century-old farm became a flashpoint in the debate over eminent domain. After months of hearings and public protest, route adjustments spared their homestead, but left behind a patchwork of easements and lingering questions about the cost of progress. Seattle's Sound Transit 3 expansion adds 62 miles of new light rail, with U-girder guideways engineered for earthquake resistance and tight urban corridors. The project's risk team faces a $4 billion funding gap, weighing seismic upgrades against budget realities. When finished, the network is projected to cut regional transportation emissions by 30%. In September 2025, the U.S. Expansion Index reached 1.07, reflecting a 7% year-over-year growth in megaproject investment. Across the country, construction teams are completing viaducts in California's Central Valley, boring twin tunnels under the Hudson, and raising 150-foot towers for the 800-mile Grain Belt Express. These projects, supported by public and private funds, are reshaping how Americans move, connect, and power their daily lives. Yet several questions remain unresolved. The final costs of high-speed rail, the full environmental impact of new transmission corridors, and how budget gaps, like the $4 billion shortfall for Seattle's Sound Transit 3, will be closed. Declassified documents confirm that only 13 states are driving most of this expansion, leaving others waiting for future investment. As of today, these megaprojects are not just construction sites, but living evidence of America's evolving priorities. Their progress marks a turning point, demonstrating the scale and complexity of building for a changing nation.